we mentioned those Trump voters. Here is Alisyn Camerota interviewing some of the same Trump voters that she's been interviewing for a while. Now, we should say, you may recognize some of these people. I mean, you sort of look at this crew and you sort of say, like, oh, I know why CNN picked out these guys. Because it literally looks like, almost like, I don't know, like the Village People version of...
It looks like a train wreck of disgusting white people and one very confused young brother. That's what it looks like.
But here it is. Here's 3 minutes. Now, remember, the first guy you're going to hear from, actually, they did an up-close thing. His son died of, I think it was heroin addiction.
Opioid, yeah.
Opioid, and he has since felt betrayed by Trump. He was the one who wrote all these Trump ballads. There's another woman there who I believe is from New Hampshire who is a Republican operative.
Former state legislator.
Right. But nevertheless, here's the cross-section. Let's hear a little bit of what they have to say over the first 100 days. I'm quite convinced you could take, they have a logo, first 100 days. You could take that logo and change it to first 300 days, 700 days, 1,500 days. And the responses would be identical. But this is sort of like, like that 7 Up series, that British documentary series where you check in on these people as they get older and there's so much change. This is sort of like almost like the opposite, where just time changes. Here.
At one of his rallies, because I asked him if he becomes president, what he'll do to combat the ongoing heroin epidemic we have in this country.
What did he say he would do?
Well, he said he was going to help get these kids off. He said it's a strong drug. And he said it's hard to get off of it. He's going to create or make detox centers, rehabilitation programs more available, more accessible to these kids and young adults to help them get off this drug.
Did you think that was all going to happen in the first 100 days?
Well, I didn't know when it was going to happen, but the fact of the matter is he tried to push through a health care plan that did absolutely the opposite of what he campaigned on. He told us that he was going to create a health care plan that was going to be lower deductibles, lower overall costs, and increase coverages. The fact of the matter is it was going to cut services. It was going to eliminate Medicaid. It was going to eliminate $5 billion worth of services to opioid substance abuse people. The hardest thing for me to take was that he said, okay, we're going to go on to tax reform. We're going to put health care off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and wait till Obamacare explodes, and then we'll see how they like this bill. And that, to me, did not sound like the words of a man that had the best interests of the American people at hand.
So, Susan.
Now pause it. I mean, that is actually like one of the most rational.
Very lucid.
I mean, here's a guy who's clearly, appears to be more or less a one-issue voter. But at least he's paying attention to the dynamic here. And
Not lied to, and he recognizes as such.
It's interesting. It's interesting why some people can come to, but let's.
We always say, though, just to be clear, we always say that there's like, whether it's a fifth of these voters that are potentially persuadable, or maybe, the concoction he put together, they persuaded to some of the less repulsive parts of it or more appealing parts of it. So I guess it makes sense that it would be represented in the focus group. You know?
I don't even think it would be a fifth. I mean,
I think,
persuadable or depressible. Really.
Or depressible. Well, depressible and persuadable, I think, are slightly different things. But yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with depressible.
Here, let's continue to hear now. Now we're going to get into more diluted pastures.
From the depressible to deplorable.
Best interests of the American people at hand.
So, Susan, a diehard supporter of President Trump. I mean, you're quite happy with
literally
what he's done so far.
Diehard.
So what do you think when you hear, your fellow Republicans who have, some regret?
I think he tried. It's a very ugly thing seeing the sausage made when you're dealing with legislation. It really is horrendous, and I don't think he had probably as much of an idea as we had hoped.
I mean, he did campaign as a deal maker. I mean, he did campaign as the ultimate deal maker. And Paula, he did say that he was going to be able to bring warring factions together. So how do you explain what happened with the health care bill?
I blame a lot on Paul Ryan. I call him Ryan O'Ryan. And I said, I think they pulled the wool over President Trump's eyes. He is not a politician, and I can reiterate what Susan's saying, where I was in the House and I sat at local levels. Although you want everything to come out just exactly perfect the way you want it, you sometimes have to compromise to get it done.
The Senate is currently
All right, pause it for 1 second. Now, I don't know if it could be the editing, but that to me sounded just as like incomprehensible. It's Rhino. It's Ryan's fault. I call him Rhino Ryan, and
clever lady.
It is amazing that Trump benefits from. On one hand, we elected him because he's not a politician, and on the other hand, the reason why he can't do anything is because he's not a politician, which I like about him. I mean, so you see, like it's both. It's an ongoing rolling excuse. And it would be easy to say it's just an excuse because, white power, and that's still there. And it's possible it's that. I don't know. It could just be just dumbness.
Did she say Rhino Ryan or Lion?
Rhino Ryan.
How the
We go to Rhino,
That don't make any sense.
Lion Ted, Rhino Ryan.
Republican name only.
Yeah, I know what Rhino means. How would you ever call Paul Ryan that? He's exactly what a Republican is.
That's actually, that is a big movement out there that has been there for a long time.
Really?
Yes.
What do they think he is?
Do you not listen to Levin?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Maybe you should kill a Guatemalan kid personally. I don't know.
All right, let's roll it. We got here.
Compromise to get it done.
The Senate is currently Republican majority and the House is Republican majority. So if you can't get a bill passed, why are you nodding, Scott?
Because it's the reason I'm nodding is because he's not willing to sit down at the table and negotiate. It's his way or the highway.
I disagree with that. Because I will tell you why.
Then why did it get pulled off the table?
Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
He walked into the lion's den. This is what you call the swamp when you're dealing with the House and the Senate. They are their own little clique, their own little fraction, and now you've got an outsider coming in who's not one of the swampy people, and he's coming in a fresh person. And you know what? It's an unfortunate thing that we've allowed Congress to get this far to the swampy level that we cannot get up and make them represent us. I see you shaking your head. Tell me the last time Congress represented you and done something that was right for you. They would never have given you Obamacare if they represented you properly.
Right. Go ahead, Scott.
It's not true. It's not true. The bottom line is, as she said, he has both houses.
All right, pause it. Hold on for 1 second. What is just bizarre to me is here as she is, right? This is a Republican operative, like presumably involved with some regularity in politics. The makeup of the Congress that gave us Obamacare is radically different. Radically is not necessarily the right word, but is at least in terms of like Obamacare. This Congress would never give you Obamacare. And theoretically, they can't even get their stuff together to repeal it. Like the delusion, the denial that goes into this. And I would wager just about everything I own that if you were to ask this woman, are you going to vote for a Republican or a Democrat for the Congress? Well, a Republican. I'm going to vote for my congressperson that's right there. Maybe they
Well, I'm independent. I don't know.
I'm
going to keep an open mind. I want to see what they say.
Here we go.
The bottom line is, as she said, he has both houses. He gets on Twitter, he rants and raves, and he says constantly, get on board or lose your seat. Plain and simple, he threatens people. It's wrong.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, that guy doesn't get how it works.
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand. Imagine if good old Abe Lincoln had Twitter, then the slaves would have been freed even faster.
The reason why they're voting for Donald Trump is also just happens to be the reason why he won't be able to get anything done.
Right.
He's walking into the lion's den with absolutely no experience.
That is why he has set up a no-lose scenario in his cult that he's done very effectively. It'll be amazing if I do this incredibly hard thing. And if it doesn't work, it's because I'm not part of the corruption.
Yeah, it's totally built in.
Well, anyways, that being said, I would like a patent, please, for my daughter.
Hey, folks, the Majority Report YouTube page is in a bit of a crisis right now because of changes in their algorithms. Our YouTube revenue has been clobbered. We need your help. Just a couple of bucks a month would really help us out and keep this channel going. Head over to our Patreon page to find out more information. It's the URL is right here.